Today, I am going to be dedicating all of my time, most of my time, to cleaning this craft room. Because I don't know if you can see just how insanely messy it is, but this has become the severe catch-all, let me not organize anything room for the past month. It's meant that I can't do any work in here. It's meant that I've been having to dig through piles of things that should be organized just to find one thing. And it's also meant that I've not wanted to be in here because everything's so disorganized and it's driving me crazy. So today I'm going to work on fixing that and trying to organize things better into different totes, put them just back where they go through mail, which I haven't done in a while, and I need to. And I thought it would just be good to bring you guys along so you can see the process and just kind of hang out while I do some good time-lapse organizing. Jada, stop rubbing your face against the tripod. Jada, stop. What? You didn't care about this when I wasn't filming. I've not been filming for like a half an hour and you haven't cared. The tripod's just gonna be shaking a bunch. So far, what you just saw, I got this countertop and the table right behind it cleaned off, and that went significantly faster than I thought it would. I'm honestly very proud of the work that I did there. Most of the things I was able to actually put somewhere and not just kind of move to another section that I haven't cleaned yet. As you can see, I still have two quilts that are just hanging out right here, and they're hanging out there because one of the other big things that I've been wanting to do in this craft room is go through all of the totes that I have in here. Originally, I had a bunch of totes in here because most all of them were full of fabric. And since then, I have emptied several of them, or close to emptied several of them, by adding my little fabric wall shelves that are over there, which I really, really like. But I still have two totes right here, technically three totes right here. I have two totes under those shelves, I have two totes under that window, and two totes under the table over there. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes of things. 5 boxes of 6? I think 6 boxes of things. I've got a lot to technically unpack still. And I was wanting to go through the totes, 1, to see if I could consolidate things, 2, to see if I could organize things a little better, because right now, I could not tell you for sure what was in most of these totes or boxes, because I don't know, because I don't open them, because I avoid them, because it's a lot of work. So I think that might be what I work on next, because one of the things I wanted to do was have a tote that was just full of my finished, ready to sell on Etsy projects. That would include this quilt, which I don't know if you have seen the video for by the time this vlog goes up or not. This quilt is totally finished, ready to go up on Etsy, and the other stuffed animals that I have up there that are ready to go, or that are already listed on Etsy, I would like to put them all in a tote, mostly just to make sure that they stay safe, they stay cat hair free, they stay dust free. So when they do sell, I don't have to do a lot of extra work, lint rolling, cleaning, making sure they're all good, getting any extra dust off of them. They're just ready to go. And then they're all in one very secure little spot. So I know where they all are, I don't have to worry about it. And then I was wanting to have another tote that had nothing in it but projects of things like if I needed to mend a dress. I have a dress over here and a pair of Dan's work pants, and there's a shirt, but I don't think that shirt is what I think it's for. But I do have another shirt, all things that I just need to mend. And my mom sent me with some of her lace curtains that she has that she wants me to shorten a little bit. So I need to look into like the best, most proper way to sew lace. Those projects are currently just all over my craft room, everywhere. And if I could have a dedicated tote for them that I could just label, so that label is there and I'm good to go. I have a label maker, I could use it more often. Hi Jadis, how are you? Then I could have them in one very clear spot. So when I decided I want to sit down and just knock out a bunch of these little mini projects that should probably only take me like 10 minutes each, but I've been putting them off because they're just everywhere and nothing's organized. They're all in one spot and I can just open it up and go from there. So that's what I want to do next. And this counter's probably gonna get a lot more messy before it gets clean again. But in a craft room like this, that's kind of what you have to do. You have to clean things off so you can just pile things back on them so you can clean them off again. It might not seem like the most productive, but that's how I'm gonna be the most productive. Do I want you up here? That's gonna be too tall. You can go right there. Okay. This says it is currently uncut t-shirts. That is exactly what it is. So this full tote of uncut t-shirts, which means I know I have a tote down there that has uncut shirts in it. I don't really know how I want to organize this yet. I don't even know if I'm in the frame. I'm going to sit down here. I don't know how I want to do this yet. This is going to be a lot of trial and error. So I think I'm going to just start the time lapse and like check in maybe after I have a few totes like good. That sounds good. So I just finished relabeling and like mildly extra organizing these 3 totes. They all had a lot more in them than I thought they did. I thought at least one of them was empty, and I was very wrong. All 3 of them are very full of fabric. And then I opened this one, and it is also very full of fabric. Mostly fabric that looks like I need to go through all of it to arrange into those 3 totes. Oh, and there's Jadis. So now I get the fun of basically emptying this entire thing and trying to fit it all into those. All right, let's go. Last one goes right there. And that is what we have to work with. Now I just get to try to figure out how to fit all of that, most of that going into one already, wait, I think it's that one. Luca, move, I can't read my label. Yeah, that one. That bin is already full and I have to fit all of that into it. Oy vey. I'm procrastinating doing that by having some lunch and drinking some coffee. I made Reubens yesterday, so I have leftover Reubens, and they are delicious. Somehow I miraculously got all of that to fit. Look, whew, this is like bursting at its seams. I'm pretty sure if I undid this clasp, fabric would just explode out of it everywhere. So we're not gonna do that, and hopefully I don't find any more that I need to put in there. So now, I think I only have 2 more totes with fabric in them. I mean, both of them are already kind of themed, so I don't think I'll be able to do a lot in them, but I still need to go through them. So I'm just gonna do that off camera quick, and then I will show you what all of the finished totes are organized for. All right, we have all 6 totes finally organized and properly labeled. So starting, I'll just give you a quick rundown of what each one of them are. In this tote, we have in progress quilts, which if you open it, it shows you a completed quilt, which sounds a little confusing, but if you've watched my channel, you know that this is the Packers quilt that I made not that long ago. There's a whole video about it, and we actually have gotten it signed by 2 different Packers players, so we want to keep it in really good condition. So I'm keeping it in this tote, just because this tote is pretty empty, because the only other thing in here are partially started quilts from my grandmother, which I also want to keep in really nice condition. That is what will be in this tote, are quilts that I am either currently working on or quilts that I have inherited from my grandmother or from other family members that are partially started that I need to finish. I know I have more quilting material, like partially started quilts and squares and things like that in the garage, but today is not the day to go add more fabric to this room. That will come another day. So for now, this tote is probably one of the emptiest totes, but it probably won't be that way for long. One day I hope to empty it entirely and all of my quilts be done, but that's probably also not gonna happen for a very long time. Directly underneath of it, we have the tote of patterned fabric scraps. In here, I have lots of gallon bags of different scraps of fabric that are colored, and a lot of them are patterned. And those are organized in their bags by color mostly. Some of it's a bit loosey-goosey in the specifics, but it's enough that when I know I need a specific color, I can come here and easily find roughly what I'm looking for. Those 2 totes I am not opening because you can see how both of them are bulging. That one is all t-shirts that are completely uncut that I plan on using for t-shirt quilts and other sewing projects. So those are just staying in there for now. And that, as you saw, was all of my solid colored fabric scraps that are mostly t-shirt scraps. They are all way too small to fit onto these shelves or be put on any like bolts of any kind. So they are in there, and like I said, I'm not opening it, but those are also organized similarly to how these are, where I have those all in either like Walmart plastic bags or gallon Ziploc bags, depending on how much fabric I have. There's a couple of them that they barely fit in the Walmart bags because there's just that much material. And then the last 2 that I have are right here, which you can see this guy hanging out. And this tote I turned into my Etsy product tote. So that is where all of my finished Etsy products will hang out. I like that it is see-through so I can see what is in there at any time. Right now there is not that much in there, which is why it is a smaller tote if I need to switch this around at some point and make it a larger tote. I can do that pretty easily. Oh, sorry guys. And this last tote is my biggest tote, but it kind of needs to be. This is all different t-shirts and fabrics and whatnot for Disney, Packers, and Harry Potter. These are specifically for those themed quilts. I have already made 2 Disney collage style quilts in the past. One I gifted to a friend, the other one I sold on my Etsy shop, and I have a lot of Disney material still. Not enough to make a full that big of a quilt again, but I could make smaller ones. And I've wanted to do, as you saw, I did a full Packers quilt as well, and I still have Packers material. And also then I've been collecting Harry Potter fabric to make a Harry Potter t-shirt collage quilt. So that is where all of that fabric goes, because I know I am using all of those shirts and materials for those quilts specifically. So rather than having them in all these other different totes that I need to go hunting and digging through to find, I just keep them all in this one specifically. So now the question is, where am I putting them? Because I want to keep all of these kind of organized and it not look too terrible. So I think what I'm gonna do is do just a little bit of a rearranging and shove some stuff in Dan's office and hope that he's okay with it. As you can see, I have 2 more totes to go through right there, but I actually don't think there's fabric in either of those. Oh, I'm also watching Mariah Elizabeth. I think those 2 totes have like supplies and things in them. I haven't opened them basically since we moved, which was over like a year and almost a year and a half ago. But I think that's what's in them. I'm not going to open them until I get these put where they need to go though, because I'm a little scared. I think I want to stack all of my totes right here. And to stack all of them right there, I need to move this hat rack. And I'm gonna move this into Dan's office because every single hat on there and every single scarf and cardigan on there are Dan's. I might have 1 hat, but there's like 30 hats on that right now. All right, and that is what that looks like, which might look a bit obnoxious, but turning around this way, I haven't had that much open space on my floor right here in a long time. Look at, even Lambeau can just stretch out and enjoy himself. We're gonna ignore the chaos that is over here though, and still over there, and all over there, and in that corner back there, and that whole stack of stuff right there. We're just not gonna look at any of that. We're gonna focus on the nice, wonderful, organized totes that are right here. So what I want to do now, because like I said, it's gonna be messy for a long time before it finally just gets clean and is clean. But the next thing I wanna do is work on these shelves. These have all of my fabric on them, but now that that top shelf doesn't have my Etsy stuffed animals on them anymore, I think what I'm going to do is move these stuffed animals, all of these, up to that shelf, wipe it off, but then I can move a lot more of this fabric over. So most of this fabric is on those shelves. Or maybe I'll just move these up and over to right there. I'm gonna play around with that some because I want to get more of my taller bolts of fabric standing up straight so I can see it all a little easier. So I'm gonna play around with some of that next and see how I can rearrange everything to make it look the neatest. That'll actually probably mean pushing some of those shelves up, but I think that's what I'm gonna work on next. All right, and this is what we are looking like. I am quite happy with it. That whole shelf is empty right now, but I will be adding more to it because I have bits of fabric kind of all over here that I need to put there. I'm tired. That might be close to where I end it for the day. I think if I do anything else, it's going to be off camera, and it's mostly just going to be more like organizing what fabric I have left that I need to put on those shelves, and like putting like candles and stuff back up there. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. So I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me for a little bit of a clean of the craft room. I will definitely be doing more of this because there's a lot I have to do, but I am already so happy with the progress that I made, and it looks so good, and I'm so happy. So I will see you guys in the next video.